Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
The morning started out snowing, but that's not going to dampen our enthusiasm for what's going on in Carson City. And he's got the rundown.
The Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada is quite an influence in this state. We'll find out just who they are and what it is they want when we talk to their leader, Paul Brown. And what's going on at the legislature right now with all these deadlines? We get an update from Ray Hagar, Capitol Bureau Chief for the Reno Gazette-Journal. Sam?
Thanks, Sandy. And coming up on the Pundit panel today, Michael Hackett, Bob Crowell, Ray Bacon, and Howard Rosenberg. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week and still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
The biggest risk your company can take.
Well, Barbara, you did very well on your interview.
Hiring employees can help your business get to the next level.
And your resume looks outstanding.
And it can also expose you to corporate crimes and costly lawsuits that can bring your company to its knees.
So, we'd like to offer you a position.
Before you hire another employee, hire the professionals at Employer Links. Call today to get our free CD-ROM, the top 8 risks of hiring employees.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
Paul Brown is the president of the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada. Who are they? What do they do? What do they want? Let's find out.
Paul, thank you for being here this morning.
Great to be here, Andy.
Now, let's get right to it.
Sure.
What is PLAN all about?
We're a statewide coalition of about 45 organizations, and we've come together to work on progressive or liberal issues, and we're proud to be liberals, and we think that the state government can do things better, and that we're trying to make Nevada a better place. Members of our coalition include labor unions, environmental groups, low-income groups, low-income lawyers, and some big dogs too. I mean, you form a coalition because you're working on issues, and you form a coalition for one reason, and that's to increase your power. And if you're a liberal these days, you need to do that.
And you've made an alliance with the governor's gross receipts tax, according to members of your group that have been on our program.
Yes, we are supporting the gross receipts tax.
Liberals, Republicans.
Yeah. I
That's
think
quite an alliance.
Well, you know, we've been working on this issue for a couple of years now. You know, we always go to the legislature and we say, hey, we need more money for social safety net programs. They say, we don't have the money. If you can come up with a plan to get the money. So before this big crisis hit, we hired a couple of economists out of Chicago, Illinois, to look at the state's tax structure. And they came back and they told us some things that we didn't want to hear. And one of the things they told us was, you know, gaming can't carry the load anymore. You're going to have to start diversing where you get your money from. And they also said we have an extremely regressive tax base. And, you know, we went ballistic. And we had an all-day meeting on this. A lot of
Was
our
that
members,
news to you?
Well, a lot of our members think just like the general public. I think that, you know, gaming is the cash cow. We can just keep hitting them and hitting them for any of our problems. And it turns out that Nevada has a big hole in its budget. 46 other states have a business tax. They get more than 6% of their state budget from a business tax, and Nevada doesn't have that.
All right,
so that's a big hole in our budget.
The tax that the governor is proposing, though, is similar to one in the state of Washington.
That's
and
correct.
That's the only other state that has one like that. And that, in fact, they lost money with that in the last year. Washington's having a terrible time right now trying to figure out how to cover their budget shortfall.
I think all states are having a terrible time right now. I think maybe there's one or two that aren't, and they probably are getting money from resources, something like oil or something like that. All states are in a difficult time right now. It's a nationwide phenomenon. Now, Nevada, we had the Price Waterhouse study back in the late 80s, and we knew this was coming, but hey, with the roaring 90s, we have no problem. We'll just keep going. We put it off. The other states had other problems. They were giving tax breaks all through the 90s in other states. We weren't doing that. We were just treading water here. Now, I'm not surprised Washington's having problems right now, and this is not a cure-all, but this is certainly a good part of the package.
Let me ask you this about Plan. Is Plan trying to be the new Democratic Party in the Silver State? Because the Democratic Party in the Silver State is kind of in disarray. I mean, you look at the last elections, and it was kind of hard to pick out the good candidates.
I think that's in their mission statement, to be disarray in the Democratic Party. That's been for years. What was it, Mark Twain's famous quote, "I'm not a member of an organized party, I'm a Democrat." And that goes back years and years ago. No, we certainly are not want to become the new Democratic Party. We work specifically on issues, and as you just pointed out, we work on issues that cross party lines. Right now, we're aligned with the governor on this particular issue. A few years back, we worked on campaign finance reform very closely with Dean Heller, and we got some reforms through, so we know who's giving the money now, which we think is crucial to identify who's giving the money to individuals to the legislature, because they're not giving that money out of civic duty. They're giving that money because they've got some bills in there that they want to see passed.
One of the other issues that you've been active on is restoring rights to felons, voting rights and the right to sit on juries. Is that correct?
That's correct, and also the right to have be able to work in certain jobs. I mean, if you had a felony conviction, you couldn't get a license to small check cars. It's ridiculous.
Okay, now the bill has passed the Assembly that would restore some of these rights. Here's the problem. Here's what I'm hearing from the public. They are concerned about the fact that if they go to serve jury duty, they could be sitting next to a former murderer or...
She didn't mean me, by the way.
No, right.
Well, she did point to you, though, which is nicer than pointing to me. Well, I think that's really taking it to extreme. We have a real problem here. We did voter registration as part of our work, and I did about 250 people I registered a week last August and September, right up to the October deadline, and every week we turned away 50 people that were ex-felons that couldn't vote. These are people that messed up when they were younger. Maybe it was 20 years ago. They still can't vote. We gave them a form.
They were maybe caught with a joint or something, huh?
Minor things, but it was enough to get us felon. And now they paid their debts to society supposedly, but now they can't vote. Now you're talking about murderers serving on a jury. I think that's very highly unlikely. One, I don't think there's too many murderers that are out there. I think we're pretty tough on crime here in this state. They're probably still in jail. Two, you get to, the attorneys get to ask people if they ever had a crime, anyone in their family's been a victim of crime, they can kick you off the juries.
So it's kind of a both-hand situation here.
I think it leans, if we're going to err on this, we should err towards the greater number of people. And there are significant, we estimate 44,000 individuals in Nevada that have felony convictions that are disallowed to vote, and that is wrong.
We appreciate it. We're out of time. We appreciate the debate. Thanks very much for being here. We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
What do you know about the gross receipts tax being proposed in Carson City? This new tax will cost more than $30 million to implement, require lots of new state employees, and take 2 years to generate $1. It will create Nevada's own IRS, forcing anyone who's in business to file a state tax return 4 times a year. The new state agency will have access to all your personal, federal, and business tax returns to make sure you comply. Nevada doesn't need more tax collectors. Call your legislator now and just say no to the gross receipts tax.
At Sushi Club, everybody's family. That's what makes dining here so much fun. The sushi is consistently better, the atmosphere is great, and the service is wonderful.
Welcome to the bigger and better Sushi Club. Come in for our delicious daily specials.
When you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Walk into the Cactus Creek Bar and Grill at the Bonanza Casino, and you know you're in for a very special evening. Enjoy the southwestern atmosphere of some of the best gourmet food in Reno. It starts right here with Chef Bruce Norman and his talented staff. From buffalo T-bone to martini scampi and peppercorn duck. There's fine wine, specialty margaritas, and our pastry chefs create award-winning desserts. The Cactus Creek in the Bonanza Casino, 1 mile north of the university, where locals come to play.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
When you want the latest news from the capital city, you come to us, but you also come to Ray Hagar and his team. He's the bureau chief in Carson City for the Reno Gazette-Journal, and we welcome him back to our show.
Thanks, Sam. Ande, good to see you both.
Good to see you. Ray, we're sitting here on this deadline with bills passing from one house to the other.
Yes,
right now. And of course, all the tax bills have been given an exemption. But we do see a struggle going on, particularly between the Senate and the Assembly, between the tax on services and the governor's gross receipts tax.
It's the big game of the legislature. It's either gross receipts on this side with the governor, service tax on this side with big business, and many of the influential senators that sit on the Senate Taxation Committee.
And this has nothing to do with parties, does it?
No. This crosses party lines. In fact, it's hard to tell. I have to keep looking at my list of what party these different lawmakers are in, and we even have a governor that's a Republican.
Republican.
Well, let me ask you this. In elections, they say these days that it's not Democrats and Republicans you worry about, it's the independents. Well, how is it now with this tax situation? From your position in Carson City, how are you seeing the alliances form?
I don't think they're forming on party lines. In the Assembly, you have a majority of Democrats, and they're siding with the governor's gross receipts plan. At least they want a broad-based business tax to come out of their house. And they do not feel this service tax idea of business people, and also in the Care Amity tax bill, fits that definition. But on the Senate side, which is dominated by the governor's own party, the Republicans, there's a lot of animosity toward this gross receipts tax, especially on the Senate Taxation Committee. That's almost, it should be an anti-taxation committee, because I don't think those people like any taxes.
Now, you said that from some investigation you had done, that while the governor says he needs $32 million to set up a mini IRS for the gross receipts tax, that we would need even more than that for the service tax?
The service tax, according to Chuck Shinnick, the executive director of the Nevada Department of Taxation, would cost full implementation $41 million and require 190, maybe 191 new employees. The governor's plan, which has been criticized by big businesses as more big government, would cost $34 million for fully implementation. That's $2 million more than they testified to early in the session, and require 120 new employees. The gross, go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say, with the Senate Taxation Committee, are they mad essentially because the governor has laid out his strategy and they feel that they should be in control of how the money's raised? They're not really arguing about the need for the money, just how the money is raised?
Right. Everyone sees the need, but how you come to fill that need is the big question. Do you tax big business with the gross receipts tax? Do you tax services, which some people say, the big business people say this is a tax that will be paid mostly by big business, and the regular people like you and I will be hit in a very light way. If you believe that, you know, it's hard to say right now because of the exemptions. See, this service tax, it could raise $1 billion in a biennium if you taxed everybody, but there's going to be so many exceptions. Let's wait and see the final bill to see what the exceptions are and how much this will raise.
They are talking about trying to keep a lot of those tax on services off the average consumer and more on services that businesses would use. Am I correct in that?
Right, but when you have a floor level of $50 that you're going to tax services, that's going to hit a lot of regular people.
There was an editorial in this morning's paper having to do with this issue and the fact that there have been some ads which do run on our show, but run on all the stations concerning the tax issues. I know you have nothing to do with writing the editorials. That's not your job. Did you want to comment on that at all?
Well, the way we do the editorials is that Andy, you're right, I have nothing to do with them, and they don't consult me on them on purpose, so it leaves me out of the editorial process so I can just report the news. But I wouldn't want to go against our editorial board, but just my personal feelings is that I don't think that there should be censorship on any level.
And I'm not sure that they were particularly advocating censorship as much as saying that it wasn't fair to the public for people to get things in 30-second sound bites. But the reality is that's the way most of the public gets their news. Ray Hagar, always a pleasure to have you here. Come in anytime.
All right, Sam.
And we'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
Enjoy news and a hot brew at Tamarack Junction. Stop in on your way to or from work, follow the market on one of our 32 TVs, and enjoy some fresh brewed coffee and a hot meal. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
Nevada should have a tax system that is fair and balanced, a system that taxes high-end services for the first time, while giving families a tax break by reducing the sales tax on common household products and other major purchases. With businesses and consumers working together, we can have a tax system that is fair to all and meets the growth needs of our state into the future. The legislature in Carson City is currently working on a new tax bill. Call them right now. Tell them you want a lower state sales tax.
We've loosened our machines. We've given you the Gold Dust West Gold Rush Club, Reno's best slot club. You can win lots of jackpots. Play longer. Your points will add up faster than you think. Yeah, we're loose and we're not screwing around. See you at the Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
Treat yourself to a late-night pick-me-up with Hobo Bob's Happy Hour at Tamarack Junction. Enjoy a delicious selection of food and drink specials every day from midnight to 3 a.m. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And we're back with an all-star pundit panel today. Howard Rosenberg joins us, representing the Board of Regents and his own opinion, of course. Michael Hackett is here with Alrus Consulting. And we also have Ray Bacon with the Nevada Manufacturing Association and Bob Crowell, who is a lobbyist here. Welcome all. And Andy's on the remote microphone for how long, we don't know. Gazette-Journal comes out today with an editorial where they say that they don't like the idea of the tax situation being discussed in 30-second commercials. Now, my thought is, okay, we all think that it's a bad idea to discuss great public policy in 30-second commercials, but it also seems ironic that there are not big ads in the newspapers. Do you think there's a little money and editorial being mixed here, Howard?
Wait, I'm not sure. The newspaper is advocating censorship? Is that what this is about? Because I'm not getting it if that's what's happening. Well, of course, you know my attitude toward the newspaper. Do we have one?
Michael, you want to jump in here?
Well, really, what can be discussed in 30 seconds? I mean, what can really be discussed accurately? I can't even do the comic strips in 30 seconds. Actually, it was my understanding, I really thought there were going to be some print ads beginning to run on the tax issues. Obviously, they haven't hit it yet.
But you know something? I think that the idea of the 30-second commercial is people's lifestyles. I mean, people are not going to sit down and read volumes and volumes of information, and the public gets their information from radio in 60-second commercials and television in 30-second spots. It's the way the elections have been run. What's wrong with getting the message out that way? Isn't it incumbent upon the public, if they want more information, to go find it? Right?
Well,
and Ray, we have to point out, is sponsoring ads are on this program, and we thank you for that, and we thank the opposition for their money too. But bottom line is,
well,
what's the point?
We consciously got the ads out because we felt that the public needed to be aware of what's in the ads. As you're aware, the number of calls that have come into the legislature since we started running those ads has gone up monumentally. Obviously, they're being effective and got somebody's attention. The other
they
side,
certainly got the Gazette-Journal's attention.
Yeah. The other side keeps saying they're going to have their ads. We haven't seen them yet. We're not sure they've got a program because, you know, we think that we're right. They must be wrong.
Well, I got to tell you that I have an informed opinion here that there is a buy coming down for the opposition to be coming out here, and that should be out in the next few days.
Well, I guess the question, though, gets to whether or not you want to run government by poll or by popular opinion, or whether you want to run government by considered discussion of the issues. And frequently, you know,
well, hang on a second. That's you and Andy. You're going to be in the back over there having a considered long discussion. But we're talking about, you know, almost 300 million Americans who are also want to be involved. How do they get involved?
Well, I think they get involved by listening, reading, but I'm not certain they get involved by a 30-second TV spot. I mean, I think that gives you a tickler, and that's about it.
Well, it is, but that is the way that politics is done. Isn't that the way? Howard, you know, you've been studying the media for all of your life, which is before television and radio, of course. But
thank you for sharing that with us.
But the reality is that this is how people get their information.
This is the way you hit people over the head with a 2x4. Sure. You get their attention, and then maybe, just maybe, they'll begin to read. It's not unlike what you do in a classroom. You tease them, you get their interest, and then hopefully they're going to go and read all the supplemental material you want them to. Most people won't do that work. They've already made up their mind.
And the bottom line is, in local news, if you get a 90-second story, that is a huge piece. A huge piece on the networks would be a 60 Minutes piece, for example, that runs maybe 6 or 7 minutes. That's 14 30-second spots, my friends. You can get all the information out there you want if you're prepared to produce that many commercials. I'm sure Andy has a comment on this. She's over there at the remote microphone because we don't have enough chairs up here. Andy, what do you think?
Well, I agree somewhat with Howard. I was sort of shocked when I read the editorial this morning. The purpose, and I used to run the Nevada Press Association, which is made up of newspapers. Purpose of editorials is to give the public some reason for doing something. But this editorial is not directed really at the public. It's more of a sermon, and it's directed at lawmakers. I was not impressed.
All right, Andy. Okay, does it matter where John Ensign lives? A story broke over the weekend that he's living in a house that he pays rent to, a lower rent perhaps than might normally be paid, that's run by a Christian organization. Is that a problem?
Who cares?
There will be people. Excuse me. There will be people who care, and I think public perception is very important. The reality may be something very different, but if the public perceives it to be a conflict or that he may be beholden to somebody, then it can be a problem for him.
Perception is reality, Sam. They keep telling me that over and over again. People will look, but they won't really look deeply. And unless Mr. Ensign explains what it is that's happening, people are going to think what they're going to think. The first thing for me is, if you have a problem with that, then ask Mr. Ensign. Mr. Ensign needs to explain it.
Ray, you have a mystified look on your face.
For years, we've had federal legislators whose official address in the state of Nevada was a hotel room. So is this worse than that? I don't think so.
No, I kind of agree with Howard, and it kind of harkens back to the earlier discussion you had. Perception is reality. Perception in 30 seconds is a reality too, I guess.
Right. Well, it'd be interesting to see Mr. Ensign's response to this, but personally,
I don't care where he lives. The only thing I care about is how he votes and how he conducts himself at the at the Congress. Andy, you got a quick thought on this here? We got about 30 seconds, maybe a minute.
Just briefly, my only concern is whether or not he's getting a discount on the rent. If he's getting a discount on the rent, that equates to a gift, and then you have to look at who the gift is coming from.
Okay, Andy. All right, we got, how much time we got left here? About 15 seconds here. I can hear it over the headsets. Okay, Ray, you are in the forefront on the fight here on the service tax. Do you think you're winning? Where do you think you are at this point?
At this stage of the game, till we see the other side's commercials, I'm not sure how we're doing, but it's certainly we've stirred the pot.
It's a very interesting observation. Michael, you want to say a quick response there?
I agree with what Ray said, especially with what came down in the Senate Finance Committee the other day, where the motion was made to remove the gross receipts tax from that particular bill.
I'm frightened when we're waiting for commercials to find out what's going on in the government.
What a pundit panel. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
If you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club. Year after year voted the best place for sushi. 11 chefs on staff to serve you. Better ingredients for consistent high quality. And lots of room, so bring your friends. Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
My name is Terry Butcher. I'm a power plant manager at Sierra Pacific Power Company. We keep Nevada up and running. From the mountains, to the high desert, to the cities. Which is good for me, because I'm a customer just like you.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, consistently voted Reno's best buffet by locals. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
You know, Paul Brown made an interesting remark after we were off camera. He said, we're in a world of 30-second sound bites with a 45-second attention span.
And I couldn't disagree more. I think that people are watching more news on television with the all news channels. They're watching this program. This is certainly a program that takes 30 minutes to get through, not 30 seconds. And people are watching it in droves. I think you have to make the content interesting. And even though newspaper circulation is going down to an extent, but their internet sites are going up. So I think the public is looking for information and they're finding it, and I think they want more than 30 seconds. They just want it to be interesting.
Well, that's probably true. The post office is also now running 30-second ads, so, you know, it's good for them. It's good for everybody.
And I think that people always underestimate the intelligence of the public. Not you, though. We'll see you tomorrow.